Are you ready? They think you can tell us what to do. Out to the masters. Break it down!
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Everyday Geek proudly brings to you a no-holds-barred podcast. And if you're down with that, then we've got two words for you. Everyday Rants!
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dave with Everyday Rants. This is podcast number 19. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. And yeah, let's get into it. So, have a weird story to tell. A little bummed. As I've mentioned before, I work from home. I think I've mentioned that a couple times. Not only on the podcast, but probably on my YouTube channel as well. I work from home, so a lot of times, you know, around lunchtime, I sometimes, if I'm not eating at home, I'll go run out and grab something. And got an interesting story, and I don't know really how to take it. It was kind of, I don't know, as I look back on it now, it's kind of gross what could have happened, but I kind of stopped it. So I ordered from this Japanese place near my house that I really like. They have these really cool and pretty reasonably priced lunch boxes. You know, and a lunch box comes with some sushi and some other Asian food that you could pick, and soup and a little salad, all that stuff, whatever. So I order it. I go to pick it up. Now, I order from this place a bunch of times. I go to pick it up, and the guy tells me it's not ready yet. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I'm sitting down, I'm waiting, and it's a while, but whatever. I'm like, no rush. I'll wait. Some other guy walks back in with a bag that he already had opened, and he's talking to the guy, and I'm sitting right there. Like, as you walk in the front door, right to your left, there are 4 seats for people waiting. Then the desk is right there. So I was sitting right there. I was able to hear and see everything. Guy walks in and goes, "Yeah, I just picked this up, but I got home and realized this isn't mine." So the guy that works there is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Gets him his stuff, blah, blah, blah. The guy leaves with his stuff. The guy that works there then turns to me and goes, says, "Is this your cell phone number?" Reads the number, and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. That guy just returned it. This one's yours." Now, as he's saying this, he's starting to staple the bag back closed and starts ringing it up. And I'm like, "Oh, no." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, I am not taking that one." I said, "I'm sorry." I go, "I'm sure he probably didn't do anything to it." I go, "But just from a sanitary safety factor, the guy said he took it home, opened it, and then brought it back." I was like, "I'm not having that. I'm not taking that one." And I'm always polite. I don't, whatever. So the guy's like, "Oh, okay, no problem. I understand. I'll have them make you another one." So he runs to the back. Mind you, he leaves the bag that was there on the counter. So he goes to the back. He tells them to make a new one. So I'm like, okay, cool. They'll make a new one. I'll wait a couple minutes. He comes back out. Another lady comes out, starts talking to him, and they start talking. Like I said, I'm in a Asian place, a Japanese place, so they start speaking, I guess, Japanese or Chinese or something. And I hear her saying, okay. So she goes, we'll get you a new one. I'm like, okay. She proceeds to take the bag that the guy brought back and walk towards the back into the kitchen. Now, mind you, once they go into the kitchen, those doors close, you can't see what's going on. I got up right away. I said to the guy, hey, listen, you know what? I said, I'm not trying to be an ass. I go, but you know what? Just tell them to cancel it. I'll grab something else somewhere else. He's like, "Oh, you sure? I said, "Yeah, I go, if the bag was up here and they made me a new one, brought it out," I said, "Fine." I go, "But I don't know what she's going to do with the bag back there." I said to the guy, I said, "Not that I think, she's going to just repackage it," which between us, I do think that's what they were going to do. But I was like, I don't find this cleanliness or sanitary. And I go, no. I said, I'll just go somewhere else. You can tell them to forget it. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that." I'm like, okay, no problem. I walked out, went somewhere else, whatever. But, like I said, I order from this place a bunch of times. I'm a little shocked. And, I wonder, have they done this before? Have they done it to other people? Have they done it to me before? I mean, I don't know. and it seemed very odd, kind of gross. I mean, I worked in food a lot, especially when I was in high school, and we never did that. You know, if someone came in, wrong thing, and it was clearly opened, even if it wasn't opened, we just either threw it out or we would save it for the end of the night and then, like, you know, give it to, you know, some workers or whatever at the end of the night and say, do you want to take it, you know, whatever. But that was just, the fact that she took it behind scenes, behind the door, made me a little weary that all they were going to do is just take it out, put it in another bag, and that's it. Make me wait about 10 minutes and then go, oh, here you go. I wasn't having that. So, I don't know. I just wanted to vent about that because that really irritated me a lot. And, of course, the normal lady that I deal with all the time there wasn't there. I don't know if it was her day off or whatever, but, that stuff makes me really, skews me out a little bit with food and everything. I get very weary going out and stuff like that. But, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting story to share with you guys. So, yeah, I'm in, like I've mentioned, I'm in New York on Long Island, and we got hit with some snow yesterday. Today, just so you know, I'm doing this, it's Tuesday, the 22nd, I believe. Yeah, March 22nd. And yesterday, we had some snow Sunday night into Monday morning, and luckily Lauren's school didn't close or didn't have delayed openings, so she went like normal. But I mean, this March snow is crazy. It's so useless. I mean, it snowed, and then by 12 in the afternoon yesterday, the snow was completely gone. Everything was melted. It was about 45, 50 degrees. Just a waste of time with the snow, and I'm so tired of it. I cannot wait for the warm weather. I am absolutely 100% a spring, definitely summer fan. I mean, I love the summer so much. I don't even mind heat waves. I actually like heat waves. I know a lot of people don't. I don't mind heat waves. Because if it's too hot in my car or in my house, I'll just throw the air conditioner on, and I'm fine. I like being able to wear shorts and t-shirts or polo shirts, and I like going to the pool. I like just not having to wear jackets and pants and sweatshirts, and I love the summer. I love it. And I hate how I get like cracked hands. I don't know about you guys, but I get like, my hands get really bad in the winter because I'm always washing them, just probably because I'm so anal retentive and a germaphobe. So I'm constantly washing my hands, but they get so dried out, and I don't put lotion on them just because I don't like the feeling of your hands when you have lotion on them. So my hands get in really bad shape. I just hate this weather. And I like that we're starting to transition to the spring. I'm a big fan of that. And the snow the other day, though, just really irked me. Really irked me. Really bad. But, yeah, so let's get into that. I wanted to talk real quick about The Walking Dead this past Sunday night. If you haven't watched it yet, there's going to be some spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, maybe click this off for the next couple of minutes or skip over this part, because I am going to get into some spoilers and details of the show. But if you've been watching it, it has been fantastic this season. I mean, I don't really know when the Walking Dead is never fantastic, but it has been just so awesome. And the build-up that they are building up for the season finale, which I think we got 2 more weeks, the build-up for the eventual appearance of Negan is just so intensified right now, where you're just waiting for that moment. And I cannot wait to see Negan on screen, what's going to happen with him and the group. And I did a little poll over on our Twitter page. So if you go over, you can find us. You can follow us on Twitter at Everyday Geek TV. I did a poll where I was asking everybody that follows us, our followers, who do you think Negan will kill of the group when he first appears? And the choices I think I put were Glenn, Abraham, Daryl, or Carol. I didn't put Maggie in there just because it wouldn't give me a fifth option. I wanted to put Maggie in there too because I still have a weird sinking feeling that it could be Maggie, and I've given my reasons, and I'll do it again, as we get in one episode closer to Negan. But I just can't wait to see the Negan character. I can't wait to see what he's going to do, and it should be fun. It should be fun. But in this episode, this past Sunday night, we got a few different things going on. We had the evolution of the Eugene character basically growing a set and telling Abraham, I don't need you anymore to protect me. I can protect myself, even though, he had a little mishap with the zombie there, and Abraham ended up helping him, and he got all pissed off because he's like, I called dibs. But, it was obvious that Eugene was having some trouble trying to kill that zombie. But the evolution of the Eugene character is starting to come out, that he's starting to believe in himself and think that he's ready for, this zombie apocalypse that he's stuck in right now. And that was interesting to see. And then how they, at the end, relied on each other. And, Abraham is kind of understanding that, he's not needed to help, I think, Eugene as much as he thinks he needs to. So that was kind of interesting. You also saw the evolution of the character of Denise, played by Merritt Weaver. I think that's her name. And that was kind of cool that they had her go out with Daryl and Rosita, and they were looking for some medicine and drugs and stuff like that. And they were showing her, which, of course, when they start showing these characters that aren't the full-time characters and they start examining them and having them expose more of their character, you always know that it's going to most likely not end great. And, of course, for poor Denise's sake, it didn't end that great, because we got introduced to Negan's right-hand man, Dwight, who appeared, and in a very emotional moment between Denise, Daryl, and Rosita on the train tracks there, which, mind you, about 30 minutes before, Daryl did not want to take the train tracks and opted to go extra time and miles out of the way, with Denise followed him and Rosita took the train tracks. So when they're coming back, Daryl starts walking down the train tracks and says, "This is faster, isn't it?" I think kind of showing like he was trusting them and they were all a group and they were going to get back or whatever. But then they got ambushed by Negan's group, the Saviors. And we got introduced to Dwight in all his burnt face. One side of his face was all burnt and everything. And I'm sure that'll be explained later on. If you read the comics, you know why. So we got the introduction to Dwight, who during that very emotional moment where Denise is talking directly to Daryl and Rosita about why she picked them to go with her and what they mean to the group and everything, an arrow, and ironically one of Daryl's arrows, goes right through her eye, and she dies in Daryl's arms. And they are confronted with Dwight and some more of the Saviors, Negan's group, and they have Eugene hostage. And there's like a battle of words going back and forth. And then Eugene, at the side of his eye, catches Abraham hiding out, because Abraham had left Eugene earlier in the episode in the warehouse where Eugene was talking about maybe building some bullets, which again, if you read the comics, that made sense. But then there becomes a little battle of Abraham takes out one of the Saviors, and at that time, the most intense, crazy scenes, one of the craziest scenes you'll probably ever see on The Walking Dead. Eugene leans over, because he's on his knees, he's being held captive by Dwight, and totally just bites and holds onto and gnaws at Dwight's package, which was an interesting scene, entertaining, funny listening to the actor that plays Eugene on The Talking Dead afterwards. But and then all hell ensues. Rosita, Abraham, and Daryl take out some of those men that are with Dwight. They retreat. Daryl gets his arrow back, his whatever that thing is, bow and arrow, whatever. And they get Eugene out of there, and they get home, and Denise is dead. And then Carol leaves at the end, leaves a note for that guy that she was seeing, leaves a note saying that she can't be there anymore or whatever, blah, blah, blah. She's gone. So who knows what's going on with Carol. She's very interesting character changes for her going on. Yeah, that was the episode. It was very intense. Sad to see Denise go, but, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. So, that was The Walking Dead. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with Negan. I'm curious to see what the story arc for him will be. I'd love to know what you guys think. So, if you want, leave comments on here. Let me know what you're thinking. What do you think Negan's going to do? If you read the comics, you know as soon as he appears, he kills somebody. I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing. I have a feeling they will. I have a feeling they'll end it with him killing somebody or something close to that. So we'll see. We'll get into that and see what's going on. We got another 2 weeks before the finale on the 3rd. And of course, it's the 3rd. It's also the same night as WrestleMania 32. So I always DVR Walking Dead, so I'll have to watch that after I watch WrestleMania. And that was The Walking Dead. I thought it was a great episode, and it's been a great season so far. Been very good. Very, very good. So, I wanted to talk this big thing in the news, and I'm sure you've heard it, about the case that went on between Hulk Hogan and the Gawker website. And it's pretty funny that, not funny, I guess it sucks for Gawker, but they just got slammed with having to give, I think they have to award Hogan with, I think it's about $140 million. I know 115 came from the actual case of the, with having his, the sex tape put out with him and his best friend's wife, Bubba the Love Sponge. So basically the story was, Hogan was going with this one. He was going through his divorce with his wife Linda. He was having some rough times, and his buddy at the time, radio shock jock Bubba the Love Sponge, who I do know and used to be a fan of. I don't really listen to him anymore because he was on the Howard Stern channels on Sirius XM when they went over there back in 2006. So Hogan and Bubba the Love Sponge, best friends, and while this is going on, for some odd reason, Bubba says, why don't you, you can have sex with my wife. It is a very odd story. So Hogan does. And I'm guessing Bubba, I don't know. I'm guessing Bubba videotaped it or whatever. Someone got their hands on it. Gawker got their hands on it, put it out there. Hogan sued and got awarded $140 million for the case and punitive damages and just recklessness. The jurors were just recklessness of the media and of Gawker of putting that out when it's something private that shouldn't have been put out there because Hogan didn't know he was being taped. So very interesting. It just goes to show that nobody, and it doesn't matter if you're Gawker or anybody, nobody beats Hulk Hogan. Hogan jobs to no one. That's right. You say your prayers, you eat your vitamins, and you have unsolicited sex with your best friend's wife on tape and have him exploit that. You too could win $140 million in court against a crappy website. Oh, Hogan. Never liked him when I was a kid, but when I got older with the NWO and stuff, I actually started to like Hogan. So, kind of sucks. Wish he was still affiliated with the WWE, but they have their own weird, philosophy on different people, and, they're the be-all, end-all of people's actions and how they act, and they get to determine who should be in the WWE and who should not, and who should be in the WWE Hall of Fame because what this one did and what this one didn't do. But that's WWE. That's Vince McMahon and the whole group there. Triple H, Steph. It is what it is. But speaking of that, I want to go into my little Raw recap of the WWE. So let's get into the recap of WWE Monday Night Raw, which was this past Monday night, which was the 21st of March. It was out in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is always a rowdy and intense crowd. So I love when they're in places like that, like New York or Philly, or those rowdy places where they get into it. They love their wrestling and they really get into it. So We start out with Stephanie McMahon comes out, starts babbling on about some nonsense. I don't know. I wasn't even listening about Triple H won't be there. I don't know. She was babbling. Reigns comes out, and it's funny. If you notice now, the last couple times Roman Reigns has appeared, he is not coming through the audience anymore. He's now coming out of the back like everybody else. So I wonder if they're doing away with that just for the fact that the fans don't like him. I wonder if they're worried about him in general, if some idiot fan doesn't realize that it's all a work and really doesn't like him and tries to push him or something. Or I wonder what that is, or if they are going to be doing is there a heel turn coming? I wonder. I mean, they might as well do a heel turn because he's pretty much a heel anyway. He gets booed more than any heel they have on the roster. Speaking of which, he starts talking, and he mentions a part where he says he's going to beat Triple H at WrestleMania for the title, and the boos just exploded from the audience. They did not like that, and that is not a good sign. 2 weeks going into your biggest event of the year, and your supposedly quote-unquote babyface in Roman Reigns is still continuously being booed by your WWE Universe faithful whenever it's mentioned that he will win the title or that he confronts a heel as in Triple H or even Stephanie. This is very alarming for the WWE, and I wonder if they're going to address it once and for all and stop trying to do this push, because it's obviously not working. And it is so actually pathetic and sad to watch the WWE go down this road and continue to try to this push. It's been, 2 years now? Maybe about a year and a half. It'll be almost a year. No, a year and a half, because last Royal Rumble is when they had him win it. And then it's been a train wreck since then. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. But, with 2 weeks left until WrestleMania, it's been the worst build-up to a WrestleMania pay-per-view in a very long time. The pay-per-view is not lining up to be that great. I am happy with a few matches they've been building up to, and I am kind of really interested to see some superstars that have been added to the card be on it, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But, so, basically, Reigns comes out, confronts Stephanie. He's booed continuously. It's not good. Not a good sign going into WrestleMania 32. After that, we get into, they have a Kevin Owens, AJ Styles match. These two are phenomenal. They're just, Kevin Owens, since he's come up from NXT, has been one of the most consistent over superstars they have on the roster. I am so glad they have him with the Intercontinental title. I would love to see him start getting into a world picture scene, maybe by the summertime, maybe by the fall, especially when Seth Rollins comes back from his injury, which hopefully will be soon, because we need Seth Rollins to save the WWE. Excuse me. But it was a very good match. It was going very well. Jericho comes out, starts his AJ Styles chant, distracts AJ Styles, and Kevin Owens rolls him up, pulls the tights, whatever, he gets the pin. He pins AJ Styles clean. Just a great match. Those two work very well, and I hope that they get to showcase those two a little bit more in matches on TV or on some of the pay-per-views. Then we get in, after that, Ziggler, Miz, and Sami Zayn come out, all saying that they want a shot at the title. They want to take on Owens at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. Owens escapes, says, you three could fight in a triple threat match, and the winner will face me at WrestleMania. Okay, great. Then we get a little segment with Dean Ambrose and Terry Funk kind of giving him the chainsaw. Just as last week, we saw Mick Foley give him the bat with the barbed wire. It's kind of like Legends passing the torch to Dean Ambrose. I don't know. Ambrose is starting to grow on me a little bit. I still find out of the Shield, Seth Rollins is the most talented, best mic work. I think he will be the one that goes the furthest out of those three. Roman Reigns, I do not like. I'm very clear. I like him as a person. I feel bad for him because he's a young guy. He's got the look. He's got the, he's got that Samoan Rock kind of look, but he just doesn't have the Rock's persona or charisma or wrestling ability, to be honest with you. I wish they would maybe try to build him a different way, but we'll see. And Dean Ambrose is starting to grow on me. I still find him a little annoying. But he's starting to grow on me a little bit. I don't know if that's just the lack of talent on the roster that I'm starting to gravitate a little bit towards Dean. But, is he the next Mick Foley? Is he the next Terry Funk? I don't think so. So that's kind of odd that they're passing the torch to him, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Then we get into the League of Nations come out. Again, waste of talent. They come out, start blabbering something, and then the awesome New Day come out, confront them, have some really good little jabs at them. The New Day are probably one of the most over things in the WWE right now, and that's why they just keep pushing them, and they should. Kofi, Xavier, and Big E are great on the mic, great in-ring workers, and they, I wasn't a big fan of the New Day when it first came out, because I thought they kind of missed the boat when they first came out. They were trying too much to be baby faces, but then once they realized that they weren't getting over like they wanted to get over, they made a great turn. And I think that's the turn that they needed to do at Roman Reigns a year ago. When they realized he wasn't getting over, they had to do that. It's kind of like when Rocky Maivia, and if no one recognizes that name, that was The Rock when he first came up to the WWE. He was Rocky Maivia. And they pushed him as this babyface, third-generation superstar, and he was booed so much. I remember watching live shows of him and people chanting, "Die, Rocky, die." I mean, that's pretty intense. But The Rock took that and became then The Rock. He joined the League of Nations. He joined the Nation of Domination and started to become The Rock, the character that he would evolve into and, go on to become one of the greatest, biggest household wrestling names in the world. Even, I think more people know The Rock than they do Hulk Hogan now, or at least they're equal. But The Rock has been much more successful in probably the world of Hollywood and, to a degree, wrestling than Hulk Hogan. But there's that transition. They never did it with Reigns, and I wonder why. But New Day did, and New Day has now blown up to be probably the most over group in the WWE. And I love it. So they had a match. It was Big E against, what was his name? Rusev. There you go. Now, one thing was weird. When New Day came out, the League of Nations went outside the ring and looked like they were keeping their distance. But why? There's 4 of you and there's 3 of them. You outnumber them already. Why are they acting like that? I don't know. Weird booking. But they have Big E goes over Rusev. That's fine. They got another week to build this up. And, New Day is not going to lose the titles. I'm curious to know if they're going to have a 4th member wrestle with them, or if it's just going to be 3-on-3, or will it be a 4-on-4 match? And I wonder who that 4th member, if it'll be someone brought up from NXT, will it be someone brought from the outside, like someone that used to be there? I mentioned earlier, in a podcast earlier, I would love to see Kurt Angle brought into that role. I think that would be hilarious with him, with those 3. Or, will someone like a Shelton Benjamin return? Or will it be maybe an R-Truth? Or, are they going to elevate someone to be with New Day, bring someone in, or bring someone up from NXT? I'm curious to see what they do, if they do anything for that 4th spot, unless it'll be a 3-on-3, and maybe Barrett won't wrestle, and adios after that. Excuse me, guys. Then we had Jericho versus Fandango. Who cares? Fandango's garbage. AJ came out and did a whole Y2 jackass thing, and they had a confrontation. Jericho still won. Kind of a throwaway match, but I guess it's to build up more of that heat for WrestleMania, since AJ said he's wrestled all over the place, all over the world, but never wrestled at WrestleMania. So now there's going to be Styles versus Jericho at WrestleMania. So that should be interesting and a really good match if they give them enough time, and hopefully everything's crisp. I think that could be great. I love AJ Styles, always have, even when he was in TNA. It's the only reason I watched TNA back in the day. One of the reasons. There were only a couple other ones. So then Kevin Owens comes out and he introduces his triple threat match, but instead of introducing Ziggler, Miz, and Zayn, he introduces Stardust, Sin Cara, and Zack Ryder. It was kind of like a spoof, like these guys deserve a title shot when, they're barely on TV, and, the announcers were kind of playing them down a lot, which I didn't like, because I think Stardust is really good. I do like Cody, and I am a huge Zack Ryder fan, probably because Zack Ryder is from where I grew up, Merrick, Long Island. He's a Merrick kid. Granted, he's younger than me, but he trained out here on Long Island. He trained at another school. As I've mentioned, I trained in the early 2000s out in Holbrook with the HWA, Hardcore Wrestling Alliance. I believe Ryder trained at a different school that was somewhere in Nassau County or maybe Deer Park, somewhere around there, which is right into Suffolk County. So, but we both grew up in the same town, Merrick, Long Island. So I do have an attachment to Zack Ryder because he is from Long Island and he is a Long Island kid. and I'm really excited to see that he's going to be at WrestleMania in a 7-person ladder match for the Intercontinental title. I'm so happy for him. I don't think he's going to win it, but I would just go ballistic if he did pull it off. That'd be awesome. So we had that. Then we had Charlotte come out. She fought Natalya. Nothing really major. Charlotte went over. They had Banks and Lynch on the announce table, going back and forth. It was a regular match. Just building up those three for the WrestleMania Divas title match. Vince McMahon came out and addressed the Shane McMahon Undertaker match at WrestleMania and said something to the effect that if Undertaker didn't beat Shane, it would be Undertaker's last WrestleMania match. Now, I don't know where they're going with that. Is this going to be Taker's last match? As he already told them he's retiring after this? Because then that would make sense. So, I mean, if Undertaker's already said that he's done, he's retiring, then Shane will go over. If Taker says he's got a couple more in him, then he's not going to lose. Shane will do the job, as he probably should, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interference and stuff like that. Again, it's just a weird match that they set up for WrestleMania. I'll get into it more when I get into my WrestleMania preview, but I don't understand why Undertaker would even take this match, but it is what it is. Then we got into the main event, Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman of the Wyatt family. A couple things I picked up. One, there was a very loud, audible, "This is boring" chant. So you know when you get these matches and they're just off the hook, they're just intense and crazy, you get that, "This is awesome." No, this chant had, "This is boring," chanted for a good 5 minutes, it seemed like. I gotta be honest, I know they played Ambrose's music at the end. I don't know who won this match, because I'll be honest, I was doing something else at my computer. I totally did not care. I could care less about Braun Strowman. Like I said, I'm just getting into Dean Ambrose. I knew he was going to go over. They weren't going to really kill him, because I knew they didn't say anything about Lesnar being there. But just I don't even know who won. I don't even know how it ended. I don't know who won. I heard the bell, and then I heard Ambrose's music, and I was like, okay, I guess Ambrose won. I don't even care who won. It was kind of a boring match, as the audience was letting this very well audible chant, so we knew that it was a boring match. But that was Raw, and again, it's just a very weak build to WrestleMania 32. I know they're very depleted on talent because of injuries, but that's their fault. That is the WWE's fault for not building the other talent they have on the card. That's why they don't have enough talent, because they don't build enough talent. They have tons of talent on the roster, but they don't build it up enough. So when you get a John Cena and a Seth Rollins to go out with injury, who are you going to fill it with? Who are you going to fill it with? You got Roman Reigns, who's not over with the crowd, the audience hates. Dean Ambrose, the crowd likes, but you got him going against Brock Lesnar, who the crowd loves. If the Undertaker versus Shane, that's totally out of left field, no one understands. You know, poor Adrian Neville got injured, so his little mini push that could have been coming is now halted. Barrett's out the door because he doesn't like his direction, but you know what? How about you try not getting injured every 5 seconds, and maybe you'll get a nice, decent push. The New Day is the only thing they have. Kevin Owens, AJ Styles. You know, they haven't built enough talent or made them that important to replace the top talent that they're losing to injury. That is only the WWE's fault, no one else's. So when people say, "Oh, they're short on talent," that's their fault. And this is what they get stuck with. They get stuck with a WrestleMania 32 with very little to no build leading up to it. They've had like 6 weeks. It's been the most boring 6 weeks leading up to WrestleMania. The matches are okay. Nothing outstanding or incredible. But we'll get into that further when we get into a WrestleMania preview. I don't want to go into a whole WrestleMania rant right now. But that was my recap of Monday Night Raw from this past Monday night, which was the 21st. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. It just seems very, very poorly planned and booked. So we'll see. It was an okay show. I was really excited to see Zack Ryder get thrown into the mix there. As like I said, he's a Long Island boy. Grew up in the same exact town I grew up in most of my life up until 9th grade. I moved to another town in Long Island. So basically, I grew up in Merrick, which is in Nassau County. If anybody knows the Long Island area, it's near Freeport and Belmore, stuff like that, Massapequa area. I grew up in Merrick. That's where Zack Ryder grew up. And then I moved in 9th grade to Valley Stream, which is over in Nassau County, still on Long Island, but near the Queens border. And, some other people that came from Merrick were Debbie Gibson, the singer, Lindsay Lohan, the actress, turned druggie, don't know where she is now, MIA. And I'm sure there's other people that came from Merrick. I can't remember. But, those are the three I always remember. Debbie Gibson, Lindsay Lohan, and Zack Ryder. Good company. Good company. So, yeah, real quick, I'm going to get into now my Major League Baseball, American League Central Division. We're getting ready. The opening night is approaching us very quickly. I think opening night is April 3rd also, which is also the night of WrestleMania 32. It's also the Walking Dead season finale. So a lot of stuff I think going on. I'm pretty sure it's the 3rd. I could be wrong. I think it is, but I hope I'm right. I think it's the 3rd. Whatever. But let's get into the Major League Baseball American League Central Division. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat shorter. So basically the teams in that division are the Minnesota Twins, the Kansas City Royals, the Detroit Tigers, the Chicago White Sox, and the Cleveland Indians. Will go like I've been going. My 5th rankings to the top. 5th in that division, I'm going with the Chicago White Sox. The only reason I'm doing that is because their offense was bad last year. The pitching wasn't great. Their pitching might be better, but the offense for the White Sox is still pretty weak. And now you have Adam LaRoche, who didn't have a great year last year, but he has the potential to be a 20-plus home run hitter. He just retired from baseball because of the whole incident with him and his son coming to the ballpark, and they told him it can't happen anymore. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that. I've heard rumors that it's in his contract. If it's in his contract, then that's a tough call because it's in a contract. But that's a rumor I heard. I don't think it's in his contract, and I think it's just something that, he did. He liked to bring his kid to all the games, all the practices, or something like that. And, the White Sox had enough and said, no, you can't do this anymore. So, it is what it is. But I'm going with the White Sox coming in 5th just because I don't think they will have the the offense to really pull anything off. The pitcher might be better, but I don't think the offense is going to be that great. 4th, I'm going with the Cleveland Indians. Again, they're in the same boat. Their pitching will be probably pretty good, but their offense, again, will be very weak. They have Brantley's out also from surgery, so he's going to be out for the early going, so we don't know what that offense is totally going to look like. I just don't think it'll be on par to compete with the rest of the division. The 3rd place, I'm going with the Minnesota Twins. I think their pitching will be adequate, and I think they just signed Ian Kennedy, I believe, right? No, that was the Royals. I'm sorry. The Twins, the rotation will be a little questionable, but their hitting could be very good, especially with Buxton, Sano, and Rosario. Those guys. So I think a 3rd place for them will be feasible. I don't think they'll be in a playoff hunt, but I think they will be moving up that division, showing that they're there to play. The rotation is a little questionable. They need to get the pitching, a handle around the pitching, but otherwise I think the hitting will be very good for the Twins. 2nd, I'm going with the Tigers. They picked up Jordan Zimmerman for the rotation. That's great. I wonder what's going to happen with Verlander. Will Verlander ever be Verlander again? I don't know. I personally don't think so, but we'll see. If he can become Verlander again with Zimmerman, with the rest of that rotation, then they have a legitimate shot, especially add in Upton, and they have Francisco Rodriguez in the bullpen. They have the team to do it, but they are older. Miguel Cabrera is older, so you wonder, are they going to be able to hold up against the young Royals team who just won a World Series, who came back-to-back World Series playoffs, back-to-back World Series, won the World Series last year, and I think the Royals are going to run away with the division. The Royals kept everybody they needed. Yes, they lost Cueto, but if you know, when they got Cueto in the trade, Cueto didn't do that much for them in the regular season anyway, and he only won two pretty important games in the playoffs. Otherwise, he was kind of a non-factor, and they added Ian Kennedy, who's a guaranteed innings eater, and that's what they need. I think they kept their whole team, offense, defense, rotation, bullpen. The Royals are going to be the team to beat in that division. I don't think anybody in that division can beat them. Are there teams in the division in the American League that could beat them? Maybe. But the Royals are going to be tough again. The Royals are going to be tough. And I'm predicting the Royals are going to go deep again into the playoffs, into a title run. And can they pull an upset and go back-to-back? 3 times in a row, win the championship back-to-back? I don't know. It's going to be close. They're going to be a very difficult team to defeat. Very difficult. So that's my Major League Baseball. That's my American League Central Division. Again, I got it going. Chicago White Sox, Cleveland Indians, the Minnesota Twins, Detroit Tigers, and then the Kansas City Royals taking the division again and going very deep into the playoffs. So, you let me know what you think. The Royals are just young, talented, and I think they are still hungry for another title, for another World Series. And it's going to be an interesting year in baseball. And the next time I do one of these, I'll hit up the American League East. That'll be with my favorite team, my boys, the New York Yankees. And then that'll wrap up all my divisions, all my predictions, and then I'll get into my quick playoff breakdowns and who I think will go into the World Series and all that stuff. And then we can always touch back in October when the season's over and see how wrong I probably will be. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. This has been another Everyday Geeks and Everyday Rants podcast. This is number 19. Remember, you could download us for free on SoundCloud. You could also head over to our YouTube channel, Everyday Geek, and you could listen to the podcast on there as well. And you could leave your comments there, share us, subscribe to our channel. Remember to follow us on SoundCloud. And if you want to follow us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you could do that at Everyday Geek TV. Thanks again, guys, for listening, and I'll catch you on another one. Adios.